Let's make some sourdough, raisin, brown sugar, and cinnamon bread. It is a long video, so hang on tight. We're going to start with 150 grams of active sourdough starter, 700 grams warm water, 17 grams maple syrup or honey, 15 grams salt, and 1,170 grams all-purpose flour. Mix it all together until you have a nice sticky dough. And the sticky is okay. We're going to let it sit for 30 minutes in a warm spot. Then we're going to come back and do our first stretch and fold. And we're going to do this 4 times so you get every single side. And once you've done that, we're going to cover it and let it sit for another 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, we're going to take it back out and do our second stretch and fold. Once again, do every side for this. And you can kind of see that the dough is becoming less sticky as we do this. Then we're going to cover it and let it sit for another 30 minutes. And after you let it sit, we're going to bring it back out and do our third stretch and fold. And this will be our last stretch and fold. And then we're going to let it bulk ferment for about 4 to 5 hours. Now, once you have let it sit for 4 to 5 hours, and it could be longer depending on your environment. Mine sits in a warm oven, so it does ferment faster. At this point, you can divide this into 2 loaves or just keep it one giant loaf. We're going to do 1.5 cups of raisins. I do sprinkle a little bit of flour just because I think it helps the raisins stick to the dough. And then we're just going to stretch and fold the raisins into the dough, and this will help evenly spread out the raisins. I put the dough to the side and got my brown sugar and cinnamon mixture ready. For the brown sugar cinnamon mixture, I did 1 cup brown sugar, 2 heaping tablespoons of cinnamon. Now this can be adjusted to taste. You can add more or less cinnamon. Now we're going to turn our dough over to a floured surface. I'm going to gently stretch it into a rectangle. I don't use a rolling pin because I don't want to pop those beautiful bubbles. If you did 2 loaves, do the same thing with both of them. And if you did do 2 loaves, make sure you remember to evenly divide this brown sugar cinnamon mixture. I did half of the brown sugar cinnamon mixture on the main layer, then I folded the side, did another layer of the brown sugar cinnamon, pinched the sides closed, and then we'll do another layer, kind of added the rest of it to the top here, and we're going to roll it, and this will give you the beautiful marbling that my bread has. And this is a very sticky mess because of the brown sugar. It just melts and kind of gets everywhere. So I did use a lot of flour to make it workable. Now you can shape it into whatever shape you want. I just did this shape because that's what was most convenient to me. I put parchment paper down and floured that as well because the brown sugar will melt and make a mess. Cover and let sit for 40 minutes to let it rise again. And preheat your oven to 450 with your Dutch oven or ovens while it's rising. Then we're going to turn it onto parchment paper, score it, and we're going to put it into the Dutch oven and bake it for 15 minutes at 450. Then we'll lower the temperature to 435 and bake it for another 35-ish minutes. Then I uncovered it for another 5-ish minutes to give it that golden top. Once it's baked, make sure you let it cool down for at least 30 minutes minimum so it's not gummy inside.